Well, here we are on another video. Today we've got this Husqvarna YTA18542. Sounds right. The sticker that would be on the hood is not with me. I don't have the hood here for this. Customer of mine brought this to me and said, won't start, won't crank over, new battery. It just turns halfway and stops. So he looked at the valves. He said he figured the valves are working okay, but asked me to have a look at it. So he dropped it off. I pulled the valve cover, and I pulled the plug out so it's easy to turn. I'm rotating the engine over, and I can see that the intake valves, exhaust valve are moving. The valves are slightly misadjusted. It's not terrible. It would have run just fine. But what I did notice is that there is no bump in the intake valve. That bump is a decompression. It's an automatic decompression apparatus that's on the camshaft, and that's designed to just bleed off enough compression when the piston's coming up on its compression stroke when starting, to allow the engine to crank over. And then once it fires and runs, that little weight goes out of the way, and then it doesn't decompress anymore. It's full compression. That's not working. So it's a common thing, single cylinder Briggs. I happen to have camshaft kit in stock for it now. We're going to change camshaft. Stick with me, see how it's done. Okay, so there's a couple of things we got to do. We got to get this engine unmounted from its frame, and to do that we have to do a few removals. Exhaust's got to come off. All this top end, all of this cover, carburetor, all this mess, that can all stay on there. All we're really going to have to do is take the valve cover off and the exhaust. We have to drop the crank pulley off the bottom, the drive belt, all that stuff has to come off. A couple of wiring connectors on the other side. It's nothing too major, it's just literally just pull them apart. I think the main starter cable's got to come off too. Yeah, the bigger wire that's on the harness. A couple of connectors, like I said. Nothing big deal here. So I already drained the oil, so it's gonna have some in it, but it's not gonna be overflowing everywhere. So let's get to that. Well, relatively uneventful. Pretty simple, actually. Right off the bat, I pinched off the fuel line, cut it, and installed a valve. It's a good idea to have a valve, especially if your engine doesn't have a fuel pump. If it's just gravity fed, you got all this weight of fuel pushing on that little tiny needle in the carburetor, and sometimes they have a tendency to bypass that and booger things up. Fills your engine full of gas, actually. But So I put a valve in it. It makes it easier for serviceability later. You can just shut the valve off, drop the fuel bowl out of the carburetor, whatever you got to do. It just makes it so much easier. Like I said, I already did change oil, or drop the oil, so that's empty. I didn't want to tip it right over on its back because the parts that are boogered on the cam, that decompression, is going to be, well, all the parts will fall to the bottom of the engine. You got to fish them out with a magnet. Just kind of tipped it back a little bit. Gets the oil to the back of the engine and lets me fish out the broken parts. Yeah, it was pretty easy. Crank bolt, pulley comes down, slide it back, and you can get the drive belt off. You can get all that stuff out. 4 bolts, 9/16 heads. This one's a bit of an animal to get to. The rest are easy. First thing, before I forget, that little drain, these little convenient drain ones, these are usually loose, and they usually leak. Oh, look at this, it's loose. Wasn't leaking, but it's loose. That's a 15/16er. Guys, if you've got these out, don't forget to give this a little bit of a snuggin before it goes back together. They are pipe thread. Don't cram it down there. You'll crack the sump. Pipe thread is tapered. You're wedging it in there and making a mess. Okay, let's get these out. First, I remember these are all the same length. Just gonna... Oh no, they are probably not. Maybe. I don't know. We're just going to jump around here. Alright. That one's removed. Got a Loctiter on them. Factory thread sealer Loctite / paste. The two that I thought were shorter are not shorter. All the same. Oh, there's one more. I forgot one. Thanks for catching that one, Len. I heard you. Oh, that's not fun. Okay. That Loctite is some serious stuff. I'll put a little bit of penetrating oil around that bottom seal there, the bottom crank seal, just to help it slide off there. Sometimes that crankshaft is rusty and that seal doesn't want to come over it. So, rubber mallet time. Hopefully the engine doesn't go falling off onto the floor. That's not in the plan, but well, I never. Oh, got all the bolts. They're tight. They are tight. It's on there. There's dowels and things to align things, and just looking for a spot where I can safely get a screwdriver in and pry. A little bit of pressure on it, maybe. There we go. Worked better than whacking it. There we go. Yeah, it's moving. She's moving. Gently now. Gently and evenly. Oh yeah, I'm holding the crankshaft in because it's going to want to walk out. It's coming. It's coming. There we go. Shazam! Oh, we got a drop of oil. Oh no. Okay. Oh. That probably shouldn't have fallen out. Okay, nothing catastrophic. But I found the piece that fell out. Yeah, definitely looks like a centrifugal weight off a camshaft to me. There's our governor. It's governing. So pressure is off of our valves. So these lifters are free floating. Oh, there's another piece. And a spring. And there's more in there. Just gotta fish it out. Let's walk this out. The lifters are gonna fall. Just like I said. And there is definitely a part missing. There's supposed to be where's the light? There's supposed to be a mechanical piece here with a weight on it. I found part of the weight. The camshaft's just no good. Get our lifters out of there. Uno. Dos. Just behave. There's people watching. Don't embarrass me. Okay, I need to clean my mitts. There we go. Let's get the magnet and go fishing. Oh, got something. Oh, that's the pin that holds it in. Part of it. Oh, heard another tick. Oh, there's another part of... That's the piece that actually bumps the valve. Rides atop the camshaft at slow speeds. Oh, another tick. There's another part of the weight. Get off of that. Not seeing anything there. Get. Just want to make sure I get all the pieces out. That's all. That's it. Appears to be all of it. Yeah. What a mess. Could be worse. Could have taken out the entire engine. Gone for a ride on the crankshaft, up and down on the connecting rod, scratched the bore. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. That fancy pendulum looking thing is your counterweight. So I believe the early versions of these, they had a big sticker on them that said AVS, which is an anti-vibration system. That counterweights the piston. So as the piston is going up, this is going down. Sorry, front to back. When it's in its natural habitat, laying down, it does the thing, and it counteracts the vibration of the weight of the piston flinging up and down. I'm going to get you guys in here anyways and show you these parts that are missing, but I'm just going to have a peek, see? Sometimes that big aluminum piece that throws that weight up and down, I've seen those broken too. You just replace the engine. It's not worth fixing that. You just get another one. Buy a used tractor for $100 and swap the motor over. I'm not seeing any damage in here. Nothing. I don't see any other parts that we didn't dig out. So, okay, give me a sec. I'll get you out of your perch there and bring you over for a closer look. Okay, field trip time. There's our broken parts. These are all supposed to be together and in one piece on the corner of the camshaft there. And as far as inside, nothing else going on in there. Everything else seems to be just in normal condition. I've checked everywhere. There's no extra parts. Nothing riding around anywhere. So, what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm going to scrape the gasket. I'm going to get my parts cleaned up anyways. I'm going to scrape this gasket out here. I'm going to clean up the cover. I'll take that to my parts washer. I'll clean some stuff off of that. You don't need to watch me scrape gaskets. And we'll get the new cam out, and I'll show you what is missing off the old camshaft. Okay, well, these are the parts we're missing. Well, we're not missing. We know exactly where they are. They're not supposed to be laying on the bottom of the engine. There's a little rod there. The lighting is terrible. That little rod bumps your intake valve to bleed out the compression, and then when it fires up, it rotates, and then there's a flat spot. Where's the... So it goes flat. I don't know if you can just see it in the detail. It goes flat there. And then the lifter lifts around it. So we got the dot on the gear right there. It's going to line up on the dot on the crankshaft because that's where it's happiest. It needs its happy place. Let's get some assembly lube. Where is my assembly lube? Uh-oh. Whoa, there it is. Whew, it was hiding. Permatex Ultra Slick. We're going to put some of that goop on these. Comes with new lifters, this kit. Put some of that. Ooh, it's slicky. It's slick and thick and stringy. It's like cheese out of the microwave. Hopefully they will remain up in their home long enough for me to get the cam in there. Nope, that is not going to happen at all. Maybe. Get in there, get. Ha! Maybe. Well, the plug is still in it, so it's going to be an animal to turn this thing over. Oh, not terrible. It's also not on compression yet. There we go. Turn, little, at a time, while the compression bleeds off. Well, it's gotta go 180 yet. Should have pulled the plug out. It's going. It is working. There we go. Getting there. It's going. Okay. I'm just trying to get the dot on the crank lined up here. Let's see how way off we are. Yeah, we're pretty well off. Off. One more. That is not where it goes, man. Just trying to get it worked in there. Oh, that's because the dot's not even there. Dag nab. That's it. Plug's coming out. I was looking at the wrong mark. I was looking at the wrong mark. Out with you. Out with you, spark plug. And the lifter fell out. Well, that's easier. Where'd the mark go? Oh, it's right there. Okay. It's a tiny microscopic dot. There. In. And the lifters are in. Yep. Okay. So that's where it needs to go. I'm going to wiggle her out. Just stay in your home. Get a little more of this on there. Come on. Just a little assembly lube on things helps keep them lubricated and prevent major wear on initial fire up. That is all. Just stay in your home. Just give me a second, will ya? Juggling. There. Now you can fall, but now you're not. You're staying where you just unruly. Governor, a little push rod for the governor's got to sit there. Oh, this might be fun. It might stay. Maybe. Possibly. So on the other camshaft, on the end of it is a slot. It's got to line up with the oil pump that's in the base. It usually doesn't. Sometimes it just falls right in. Not often, but sometimes. I'm just going to turn the oil pump so it's kind of close to the right angle. Kind of close. It's just a little flat piece in there. I did not take it to the pressure or the parts washer. I just scraped the gasket. There is a screen in here. The base of that screen, that's where any major parts, gravel and squirrels and raccoons and stuff would get stuck on the screen before it goes to the oil filter. Alright, well, that looks like it's ready for a gasket. And the gasket is a mess. It's all bent, ventilated, and not going to behave. So, I'll take another pause. I'm going to glue the gasket to the cover. Well, maybe to the engine. I'm going to let that tack up. Back in a second. We got a semi-stuck. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's sealed all the way around. It just has to hold it in place and then get this stuff wiggled on. Alright, well, let's hope for the best. Best scenario is the oil pump and everything lines up easy. Camshaft, all that stuff. It may not. You know what? I get pretty lucky at that. Yep, it walked right in. Awesome. Excellent. That's good. That's good. I didn't even have to mess with the oil pump. Good, good, good. A little more prep work to do. I'm going to clean out the valve cover now. I'm going to run all these bolts on a wire wheel, take all the old sealer off, thread locker, I'm going to put some blue on it, blue Loctite, and we'll run them down, torque them to spec, and then just flip her over and drop it back down. Yeah, drop it back down, then we got to do the valves, set them up, and yeah, we're in the home stretch. Alright, we got the gasket on there. We're all set to go. I've got those bolts buzzed down on the wire wheel. Cleaned up. So the old sealer's off. I got some blue Loctite on there. It seals threads and locks the threads. Hence the name, Loctite. 180 inch-pounds on these bolts. Do them in a all over the place pattern. You just don't run them around in a circle. You can do them back and forth, up and down, all over the place. Yeah, that's it. Let's get this thing back in its home. Get its kickstand out of there. Ew. What is that stuff? There's something goopy and sticky up there on the valve cover. Some type of gasket adhesive, maybe. I don't know. I don't use it. I usually just clean them off, put a gasket on them. Paper gasket. And there's two different, well, I know. Information like a fire hydrant over here. There's two different kinds of valve covers. Some are supposed to use a gasket. Some are supposed to use RTV. They do look different. I use the gasket on all of them. I really don't ever have a leak. And most of the time, the units that I work on, they turn into repeat customers. So I know I'm going to be the next guy working on it. And I would much rather take off a gasket than clean RTV sealer out of that, all that stuff. Let's get her flipped down. If it wants to, I suppose. Okay, let's not throw it on the floor. There, that was easy. I'm gonna slide it to the back. And the first thing I'm gonna do is gonna get the pulley and the drive belt on, because it's got no resistance. Like it's got all kinds of slack. So it's easy now to just hook the drive belt on, which is the top one. It runs to the back on the variator. It's not a transmission, it's a variator. It's plastic from wheel to wheel, and it's got this crazy variable pulley, very expensive belt. I'm not a fan myself. I prefer a hydrostatic or something, not this plastic. They seem to work. It's a very common thing now. So I'll do a little bit of assembly here, and then I'll just fast forward it again, because it's just nuts and bolts. It's boring. We're going to leave the spark plug out for now, so I can rotate the engine when we do the valves, because you got to set them now. All right, so there's the pulley. You can't see squat. I know it. Okay, all the stuff you guys didn't see before, you're not going to see again. I just bolted it together, put all the parts together. Let's get the valve train set up. Aluminum push rod on these singles goes on the bottom on the exhaust valve, or sorry, intake valve. But there's a little plastic nylon guide in the plate, and I usually flip the push rod over, because you'll see where it's been wearing. I flip them over so that wear spot is not there. So I'll get them set in the lifters. Yup. And yep. Okay, both set in there. Set in their little pockets. And I'm just going to run this down by fingers, just so it doesn't fall off on me. I did remember to put the valve stem caps on there. Also, remembered to tighten the crank pulley bolt. Thank you, Bill, for reminding me. So we have no spark plug in this, so we can easily turn it over. Let's just get one moving somewhere. What do we got? Oh, we got the exhaust valve opening, so that's all the way open, which means this one can be set. We're going to do 5/1000ths of an inch. A wee bit loose. A wee bit. I'm going to put a little bit more torque on that lock. I do cheat a little bit on these. A little bit more torque on the lock. I'm going to grab my wrench. 5/8 on these. Where's my blade? There's my blade. Okay. Actually, it's not terrible. I could go a little tighter. And just gently, fellas, just gently adjust. If you go too tight, you'll break the stud off. Just moderation is what I'm saying. Just a little. The stud is tiny. Perfect. Perfect. Flip her around. Do the other one. Intake valve is all the way open. Now we can set the exhaust valve. 5 thou. That's a little snug because it moved when I tightened the lock. We can just cheat a little, not a lot, just a little, and that's perfect right there. That's actually a little bit loose, a little bit tight. It's a little bit of a balance game. Perfect. I'm happy with it. It'll be just fine. Just fine. Clean valve cover with a new gasket. Put a couple in on a diagonal. Gonna hold it for us. Golden spark plug. No, not a golden spark plug. It's not even platinum really. It's just a plain Janer. RC12YC Champion. And we'll snug this up. There we go. Throw the plug in there, a plug wire. I'm going to put 1.5 liters of oil in it. And, oh, I put an air filter on it. It didn't come with one. I put an air filter on it. It's just temporary. I don't like running engines without an air filter on them at all. You never know. Bumblebees or, I don't know, a manatee or something might get in there. I just don't want the risk. So I normally just pop a filter on. I'll take it off after. I'm sure he's got the other one at home. All right, so stand by. I'll get the oil in there. And we'll give the Kia crank, see what happens. Moment of truth. Let's see what happens. Everything just mentally tightening bolts here. Those spark plug, exhaust, crank, 4 engine bolts. Throttle cable's on and adjusted. Fuel valve is on. All right, choke. Brake is on. Let's see what happens. Absolutely nothing. Could be this has to go down further. Sometimes. Wow. I don't even know if it's got a battery in it. Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's even charged. Let's lower the hoist and see. Battery is flat dead. I wouldn't even turn the hour meter on. Flat dead. We are at 280 hours. That is not a lot. Okay, choke. Let's see. It runs and it's quiet. Nice. Nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm not sure why the battery's dead. I don't know. I literally have done nothing to this machine, so other than what I just did now. Pushed it in this morning, actually. We're going to throw a battery charger on there. It is a brand new battery, so I don't really know what happened. Let's, we'll just check the oil, make sure that the level is correct. Well, that's pretty well it for this machine. He'll be cutting the grass by tomorrow. We'll deal with that in a minute. But I want the battery charger on there. Oh, it's a 5 amp charger. It'd take a little while to charge this, but it'll be fine. I'd rather charge them low and slow than fast. I don't want to boil things. Yeah, not a bad machine. It's not, supposedly it's not too old. It's, well, it's 2017. It's 6 years old. 280 hours. That's what? 5 years worth of use, according to Briggs averages of 50 hours per season. It's about right. Let's round this one up here. New camshaft. Common problem. Decompression has left the chat. Throw a new cam in there. Top her up with an oil. And she's good to go for another while yet. Now, disclaimer here. I'm going to tell you guys. I've used a Amazon camshaft. I did not put a Briggs camshaft in it. This is probably the 4th or 5th one I've done with Amazon camshafts, and I have never had a problem. Now, there's more than one vendor, there's more than one place to get them. I get them from the same vendor all the time, the same guy, just like the same place. I haven't had a problem with them. When I do, then I will consider other options, but at this point, it's half price for a cam and I can get it in a day. I will take those. Like, there was a time I couldn't even get Briggs ones. I waited a month and a half for a Kohler one. I can't have that. Customers can't be down a month with no mower. And I don't have loaners. So that's, truth be told, it's a Amazon camshaft. Thanks for joining me, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You do subscribe, give the bell a dingle. It'll let you know when I upload new stuff. Until the next one, take care.